Woman got pregnant in jail by inmates passing semen through air vents. Who says romance is dead? So full disclosure right here, this woman is currently on trial for shooting her husband back in like 2022. So I've watched a bit of the trial so far on YouTube. Probably not going to go and watch the rest of it, but I have seen a bit of it. And this part right here where it says she got pregnant by an inmate passing semen through air vents, as ridiculous as that sounds, was very much the case. But I discovered this part already through a YouTube video, through the YouTube description on the trial I was watching involving this woman right here. So I am a little bit familiar with her story so far. Many would argue that giving birth is one of the most beautiful things you can do in life, but it's rare that the conception takes place with the partners in different rooms. In a world where weird sex positions and bedroom trends are widely on the internet, it's still shocking to hear that a woman managed to get pregnant in jail, which isn't exactly the most romantic or appropriate setting. Fuck romance, fuck appropriation. You gotta do what you gotta do. And clearly this woman felt the same way. What's even more impressive is that Daisy Link managed to get pregnant while in solitary confinement, and it certainly wasn't an accident, although it is perhaps less surprising when you hear that this unusual arrangement took place in Florida. When you hear a story that's a true crime story, you just know, this took place in Florida, didn't it? How'd you know that? It's Florida, that's all you need to know. It's an easy guess. Even someone like me from the UK, who knows nothing about the US, who knows nothing about the state of Florida, when I hear a crazy story, I'm like, this took place in Florida, didn't it? Bet you any money. Usually I'm pretty accurate on that as well, so if I was to bet every time I would hear a true crime story, and I guess it was in the state of Florida, I would probably be a millionaire by now, if I'm being really honest. It's alarming to think of women being pregnant behind bars, where they are unlikely to have access to all the pre-natural yoga classes and dietary needs women need to help make a healthy baby. One British teen is still facing a hefty sentence in Georgia after being accused of drug trafficking earlier this year, and she has complained about the treatment she's received despite her pregnancy. But in the case of 30-year-old Link, prison officers were baffled when she became pregnant despite her restricted access to the outside world, let alone a potential partner. Where there's a will, there's a way. Always remember that. It turned out that she had begun to connect with accused killer, Joan Deepaz, if that's correct, in terms of the pronunciation of the names. And after opening up about her desire to have a baby, he gladly agreed to help out. How romantic is that? He might be an accused killer, but he has a soft spot for helping women fulfill the desire to have a baby. Bear in mind she knows nothing about this guy whatsoever, other than a brief conversation they probably had, discussing why they're in prison in the first place. But this guy could be riddled with God knows what. Any sort of disease out there. It's just creepy, weird. Link, who was in jail after fatally shooting her husband, Pedro Jimenez, in 2022, devised a plan with Deepaz that saw him pass down the semen through air conditioning vents before she inserted it herself using a yeast infection applicator. A true Hollywood love story. Absolutely. They're going to make millions on this movie when Hollywood decides to make a movie about this story. I put the semen in sarin wrap every day, like 5 times a day for like a month straight, Deepaz said in the latest romantic way imaginable. Link added, he would kind of like roll it up, almost like a cigarette, and he would attach it to the line that we had in the vent, and I was pulling it through. After only a few tries, she became pregnant, and she shared her delight while medical professionals and prison staff were no doubt confused about how this came about. Oh, Jesus Christ. She said, I can't believe it worked. I think everything happened for a reason. She's a miracle baby. She's a blessing. She could be anything. I think that she's going to be something great. A story. Literally, what a story. You can't ask for a better true crime story than this. You just can't. It's just, I mean, what a time to be alive. Honest to God, what a time to be alive. Where you got stories like this out there in the universe. where a woman randomly gets pregnant through a random stranger in prison, despite not having any physical contact, but because the stranger, decided to help her with her desire to have a baby, and pass through some of his semen through an air vent. Because why not? That's romance in 2025 right there. You can't ask for a better love story than that. You can't ask for a better romantic drama, or whatever it may be. If Hollywood was to produce a Hollywood drama, this is one right here for the ages. This is one that's going to win you all sorts of Oscars, all sorts of awards around the world. So with all that being said, thank you very much for tuning in to today's episode. Please let me know your feelings down below on what you think of the story, especially if you're from Florida or you're from the US in general. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. I do hope that the daughter of Daisy Link does grow up to make something of herself, does grow up to have a healthy life and a great life as well, and she doesn't let the fact that her parents are both convicted killers and complete both weirdos have an effect on her life. So until next time, take care, stay safe, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye for now.